And then
I
killed them. But however, I found their bodies and their wounds were healed.
Okay.
Do you want me to show you?
In a minute, okay?
The man you're seeing is Adlai Mester, a 20-year-old resident of the village of Tijeras, New Mexico, brazenly admitting to the murder of his entire family. Officers at the scene quickly began to understand that Mester's grasp on reality was tenuous at best, that he didn't fully understand the gravity of what he'd done. But at the same time, Mester's actions right before police arrived, and a shocking incident that occurred during his interrogation, suggest that there was more to this killer than met the eye. Located about 15 miles away from Albuquerque, Tijeras was a community of just a few hundred people. Everyone knew each other there, but in the case of the Mester family, much of their renown came from the youngest child, Brielle. 46-year-old Raimundo and 51-year-old Bertha had 3 children. Their oldest daughter is a woman whose name hasn't been released to the public and who happened to be away from the family home at the time of the killings. Their middle child, Adlai, had always been troubled with an unspecified mental illness that likely involved auditory and perhaps even visual hallucinations. Their youngest daughter, 17-year-old Brielle, was their pride and joy, not just because she was the youngest, but also because of her altruistic, generous nature. Daniel Abram was one of the Mester's closest friends in the neighborhood. He lived nearby, so whenever something big happened in the Mester residence, he'd usually be able to hear it. On this particular day, he heard gunshots. At first, Daniel couldn't believe what he'd just heard. He frantically tried texting the Mesters. When he didn't receive a response, he drove up in front of their property and honked to try to get their attention. But the family was already dead by this point, and their killer was already trying to hide the evidence. Shortly after the call, deputies arrived on the scene. It was later revealed that they interrupted Mester while he was trying to mop up the blood that had gushed out of his family members when he shot them to death. What surprised these officers was how little Mester seemed to understand about the severity of what he'd done. At first, he tried to claim that his family members had tried to attack him.
My family rushed me.
Rushed you where?
In my room.
What do you mean?
With a knife.
Come out here real quick then.
Yes, sir.
What are you talking about, dude? Yeah, do you have any weapons on you right now?
Yeah, I do.
Hold on, no, don't reach.
No, I do.
Go on, turn around.
Yes, sir.
You're just gonna tell me what's going on, okay?
So
Give me a second.
My family was trying to walk into my room, and then they were trying to hit my heart. And my dad had a knife, and my sister had a sledgehammer, and I killed him. And then I killed him. But however, I found their bodies, and their wounds were healed.
Okay.
Do you want me to show you?
In a minute, okay?
We need additional units.
Mester initially claimed that his family came at him with a knife, but then went on to say that his younger sister, a minor who was probably no taller than 5'5" and looked to weigh about 120 pounds, somehow swung a sledgehammer at him. Needless to say, no such weapons were found on the property. As the officers put him in cuffs, Mester seemed to either misremember his parents' names or he intentionally lied to police.
What's your parents' names?
Nancy, David,
What's your name?
Adlai.
Adlai?
Adlai.
Are you okay, man?
Yeah, no, I'm honestly shook.
Throughout his arrest, Mester continued to push his clearly false story about being attacked. He told this tale with all the conviction of a child caught with their hand in the cookie jar. There's an air of immaturity to his speech, as if he still thought that police officers would believe the lies he was telling.
That shit was crazy. Is that normal? I don't fucking know what happened. It's like they were trying to hit my heart, and then they were banging on my door, and then fucking my...
You have blood on your hands, dude. What's up with that?
My dad rushed me, I hit him, and then my mom was like, you need to die. And I was like, what the fuck?
Turn around.
I've been trying to officer, but I tested negative for two. Well, I tested positive. I don't know what's going on.
Alright. Let's secure him and see if we go inside.
Do you think we should secure this up?
No,
Yeah.
I can show you the bomb, bro.
No, just hold on.
Just tell me where they're at, but you're gonna come over here.
Hey, hold on. We have to detain them in a car, okay?
They're over there.
On the right. Okay.
All right.
Are they in the house?
No, this shit looks scary for them. They were biting their arms, and then there was like fucking hot boiling shit on the ground. Is that normal?
I think.
With Mester in cuffs and waiting in the police car, deputies called for backup and headed to the scene of the crime to find the bodies. As soon as they arrived on the doorstep, they could tell that a brutal massacre had occurred inside.
I don't know.
This is the sheriff's office! Bernalillo County Sheriff's Office! Anyone inside? Come on out with your hands up, open and empty!
on upstairs footprints.
Does that look like it could be drag marks?
I think that does. It looks like maybe, I don't know.
It's the Bernalillo County Sheriff's Office. Anyone inside? Come on out.
There was blood clearly visible on the floor, along with drag marks suggesting that Mester had tried to relocate the bodies after shooting his family dead. As the deputy called out into the home, he quickly realized that there would be no response. No one was alive inside the home, so police had to enter to get to the bottom of what had happened.
You guys didn't find anything downstairs on the long side?
No.
He said that's where his family was.
They said the neighbor saw him in the backyard. So Is there a way over there?
Got a bunch of blood over here. Oh, this was cleaned up. No?
No. He's in ours. Behind mine.
You want to go back with him since you guys are first on scene?
There's drag marks still here.
A whole contingent of officers searched through the home and found no signs of life. All they found were pools of blood, some of them dried up and others partially cleaned, in a trail that led to the backyard. There were drag marks there, indicating that Mester had taken his family out back somewhere. Minute by minute, it was becoming clear that officers needed to venture towards the ravine behind the home. That was the only place the bodies might be. But first, the deputy needed to ask Mester one final time where the bodies were.
Please don't kill me, officer.
I'm not gonna kill you, dude, but I need to know where they're at.
All right, did you see that dog? I can show you.
No.
Okay, so no. So
Where are they? Are they inside the house or outside the house?
They're in the backyard. So I was gonna bury them. So there's a
Subject
gate.
saying they're
There's a
in the
gate
backyard.
with the trail. Gate with the trail, and then you're gonna want to take a right, and there's gonna be another gate, and you want to go down. I can lead you there.
Do you have a specific location or?
One thing stands out here. Mester seemed to think that this deputy was going to kill him. Was this all part of his strategy to plead insanity in court? Or was he truly detached enough from reality to think that an officer of the law would kill him while he was cuffed inside his vehicle? Perhaps he'd read about police brutality and assumed something similar was going to happen to him. But one might notice the childlike way in which he asked this question. It is important to note that Mester is a 24-year-old man, yet his cognitive capacity seemed like that of someone much, much younger. Regardless, he did confirm that the bodies were in the backyard, giving deputies the chance to go and recover them. But before the deputy and his team could start looking for the bodies, they made another gruesome discovery.
Officer, we're in the backyard. Anywhere else specific?
Did you go past that second gate on the right?
The dogs were bleeding.
Second gate past the right, and then do like a ravine.
Mester had also shot the family dogs in his blood frenzy, although he hadn't managed to kill them. This seems to suggest that he was in a blind rage, perhaps even that he didn't know who he was shooting at. Even if Mester believed his family posed a threat, the decision to shoot the dogs, who were confined in their kennel, suggests irrational or rage-driven behavior. After the deputy informed the other officers present about Mester's confirmation, his fellow first responder joined a search party that made a grisly discovery in the woods. It was a scene that Mester seemed determined to revisit.
Where?
These are drag marks.
Let's try and stay out of them.
They're here.
Yeah, let's try and stay out of them.
Okay, I got it. Three deceased, one possibly looks like a juvenile.
Upright agencies, one to
We keep it or what? I don't know if it matters.
Mester had taken his family out back and tossed them into a ravine where he intended to bury them. With the bodies now recovered, Mester could officially be brought in for questioning. Little did police know his spiraling mental state would cause him to do something absolutely shocking and equally bizarre while he was in custody. At 6:24 p.m. on October 13th, the interrogation of Adlai Mester began, and almost immediately he started to say the most unnervingly bizarre things.
So obviously, it seems like a lot went on today. I would like to ask you a few questions about what went down. So, first off, is English your first?
Around 9 p.m. we're like facing, there's like seismic waves. So I was just aiming at cell towers, top of Big Bend, top of Seattle, and then I was hearing a lot of seismic waves and a lot of women were hurting. So then I helped the woman pull coins out of her vagina, and then healed. Aimed at a submarine, and next thing you know, the seismic waves would have stopped because they're only down for like 34 seconds.
From what we can tell, Mester was implying that he had heard some kind of seismic wave the previous night. Did this mysterious auditory phenomenon cause him to kill his parents? If he's telling the truth, it's almost certainly a byproduct of his mental illness, but there's no way to know for sure. As the interrogation continued, Mester showed signs that he didn't fully understand what had happened that day.
That sounds like it. So let me just...
How many died?
What's that?
How many died?
How many?
Died today.
I don't know. I haven't been out there.
Mester then asked for something to write a statement down on. He seemed convinced that these so-called seismic waves were the key to solving the mystery, not realizing that there wasn't even a mystery at all.
Around like 8, 9, there's seismic,
S-E-I-S-M-I-C.
So I see waves, 8:30. Well, 8:30 fucking just one stop. Then, aiming at cell towers, Big Bang, want to see the Big Bang?
Sure.
Space Needle.
There was a chance that Mester didn't fully know what was going on, and continuing to interrogate him in that event might ruin the prosecution's chances in court. As a result, the detective tried to make sure that Mester understood his rights.
So, before we keep going, I just need to make sure you understand a few things, okay? Since why you're here, okay? So we brought you down to a police station, okay? I just want to make sure you understand your rights, okay? Have you ever had your Miranda rights told to you before?
No, sir.
Okay.
First time.
Okay, so basically what that means is every American has these rights, okay, as an American. So I want to make sure you understand that, okay, before we talk. Okay? So they go as you have the right to remain silent. What does that mean to you?
What are you saying?
So you have the right to remain silent. So what does that mean to you?
Well, honestly, today was like a major catastrophe.
So what does that right? You have the right to remain silent.
No.
That basically means that you don't have to talk to me. Okay? Do you understand that?
Yes, sir. However, today was a major catastrophe.
And I want to talk to you, but I just got to go through these with you before
How
we
many
talk.
died today?
I don't know. I haven't been out there.
You hear about the seismic waves?
I've heard of them, okay? I've heard a couple people talking. But let me get through these, okay? So you have the right to remain silent. That means you don't have to talk to me, okay? Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. Do you know what that means? Abla, do you know what that means?
Yes, sir.
What does that mean to you? Well, anything we talk about today can be used in court. Do you know what that means?
I understand.
Okay. You have the right to have an attorney with you before and during any and all questioning. So what that means is you can have an attorney before we talk. Do you understand? Adelaide.
Despite the detective's attempts to break things down, Mester didn't seem to understand. He nodded and said yes, sir, but did he really recognize that his words could be used in court? Did he even know he was being charged with murder? He seemed to keep dipping in and out of lucidity, forgetting things that he had just told the detective, and generally indicating that he wasn't really in his senses. Whether or not he was in his senses when he murdered his family was another matter entirely, but it's possible that Mester was just being evasive here. As we'll soon see, he recognized that he was in trouble at the very least, but for the time being, the detective had to figure out what truly happened that day.
Do you have any firearms? What kind of firearms? A Glock 19? Is that a 9mm? Okay. Did you have that today with you? Yeah. And was that the gun that you had on you when you saw the deputies for the first time? Okay. Now, tell me what happened inside the house with your mom and dad and sister.
Well, now I have my mom and dad and sister. Previously, we were dealing with the catastrophe. And next thing you know, I try to leave. And then next thing you know, it comes over, the money stop, and my family misconsciousness gets built. I had to.
And when you say you had to, what did you have to do?
Kill.
Okay, you had to kill them? Okay.
And they lost consciousness, and I don't know what they do.
Okay.
They're raising, they're rising back. And like half an hour later, eating bodies.
They were eating bodies?
Grabbing the dogs, and then I had to shoot the dog too.
You had to shoot the dog?
And I was willing to leave everything. I was clean, but then I heard the police call.
Yeah. So where was your dad when all this was happening, when you shot him? Was he in his room or living room?
I used to use thermal imaging cameras and you check it.
Well, I'm just asking what you know.
On 55-year road, 55-year road.
Yep, I've got it at the top. Where did you shoot your dad?
I shot my dad in the room.
In the living room? And did you shoot him? Where did you shoot him?
Well, at first I just hit him, and then I hit him, and then I was like, what's going on with this guy? And then I killed him.
Where did you shoot him in the head? Did you shoot him in the chest?
I was shot.
What about your mom? Where did you shoot your mom at?
My mom was saying that the guy killed me. And then my dad said the same thing. And then I don't know what they got possessed or something. Can you put possession?
Possessed? Sure. So you shot your mom. Was she upstairs or downstairs?
She was walking down just talking crazy. I was like, I lost my father. And then my sister, same thing, just got scared. And I shot through the wall. She raved, shot her to the head.
Based on Mester's confession, we know that his father Raimundo was shot first, with the attack taking place in the living room. His mother likely rushed downstairs after hearing the gunshots, at which point her son fired on her as well. It's unknown where and how he killed his sister, but she was gunned down last and her body was found with her parents in the ravine. While explaining what he did with the bodies, Mester seems to suspect the sheriff's deputy of foul play.
You said that your mom was walking down the stairs, your dad was shot in the living room. Where did you take them after you shot them?
I buried them, so there's like a trail.
Okay.
And then I open the gate, take a right, from the gate. So I down the trail, and I put them all in the ravine.
And why did you put them in the ravine?
Because I lost consciousness, and you can take pictures. Can I write some down?
Yeah, I'll give it to you.
I feel like you're tempering.
I'm not tempering anything. I'll show you what I'm writing.
How about I write a note?
Okay.
At this point, Mester wants to take control of the narrative. He wants to write down what happened himself and once again brings up the story about his family trying to kill him.
Try to kill me. Unenunciated. Unenunciated. To kill me. Lost consciousness. Consciousness.
The detective now knows everything that happened and has a relatively firm grasp of Mester's mental state. But there's still more information to obtain, more context to gather. While the cause of such violence is often unclear, investigators sought to understand Mester's motive or state of mind. The detective started to wonder if Mester took some substances that pushed him off the deep end.
So today, and you're not in trouble if you did, okay? Today, did you take any type of drug or anything like that?
No.
Do you normally take anything other than like marijuana or anything?
But like for a past week or two, I've been on sobriety.
So you've been sober?
Yes.
What were you usually on?
THC.
THC?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you take any type of meth, fentanyl, anything like that?
Definitely.
No? Okay. Have you ever been to the doctor at all for any type of mental health issues?
Well, yeah, I went to the Haven for, curse. People used to curse me, and I feel like my family cursed me.
Oh, really?
They keep like that down. I feel like my family tried cursing me.
And why do you say that?
I don't know, it's just, I always spend time with my family, and my voice changed.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, so this is what's going to happen, okay? We have a few things we got to do today. It's going to be a little while. I got to go talk to my partner, try to figure out what all happened, and we got to figure this out, okay? If you need anything, just knock on the door or just say hello, and I'll come back and help you with whatever you need, okay?
Based on his statement, Mester potentially thought that his family was forcing him to take some kind of medication. This lines up with what his sister said about him skipping his meds, and it may have caused his break with reality. With the interview now complete, the detective heads out to get some paperwork done, but being alone in the interrogation room seems to have a negative effect on Mester. Pretty soon, he starts talking to the detective that's no longer there.
Fucking Officer Adriel, Bloodline Jesus, that's not me. Period. I ain't no Adriel, no fracker. How about y'all go ahead, pull some strings, let's make the officer the sheriff, let's make it happen. I don't deserve to spend life in prison over a catastrophe.
Here we see Mester presuming that the detective is going to pull some strings for him, claiming that he doesn't deserve to spend his life in prison for what he calls a catastrophe. As the minutes go by, Mester becomes increasingly agitated.
I ain't no Officer Adriel, Bloodline Jesus, no such thing. Jesus was not conceived. You know what y'all believe, Officer Adriel? Y'all believe there's Bloodline Jesus. Fucking retarded. Officer Magistrate, Admiral Magistrate, matter of fact, Admiral Magistrate. On them seismic waves out here, on them seismic waves, Big Ben, monitor those cameras. Officer Adriel, Admiral Magistrate, commands. If y'all monitor those cameras all night, if I get hit in the butthole for some shit I don't deserve, I'm going to war. Orders are orders.
At one point, Mester starts praying to Jesus to help him go free.
Christ Jesus, release me. Amen.
Shortly before 7:30 p.m., Mester makes his first attempt to open the locked door to the interrogation room. He seems to be having trouble sitting still and is showing some signs of aggression. Mester also reiterates his belief that the police are trying to kill him, something that he's been talking about since the moment he was arrested.
Y'all just trying to kill me. Give me life.
Mester makes another attempt to leave, starts demanding that police let him out, and seems to talk to some kind of angel that he believes is present in the room with him.
Tell them to unlock the door. I can't. Just let me out. Adriel, let me out. Thank you. Adriel. Look, he has his own brain. That's what I'm saying. I'm commanding you.
This prompts detectives to intervene and tell Mester to calm down, also acknowledging the fact that he seemed to have relieved himself in the corner of the interrogation room. Mester responds by asking if the police are going to bring more soldiers.
All right.
Hey, Detective Carroll, go ahead and sit down for me, okay? All right. So, that's gross.
Sorry.
You should have told us, dude. We would have took you to the bathroom, bro.
All right.
So here, what I need you to do, man, is just take a deep breath, okay?
Mhm.
Okay? We got a lot to do, so just take a deep breath. Okay, you've been yelling a bunch. You doing okay?
May you please release me?
What's that?
May you please release me
Release you where?
from this?
We can't, man. We can't. So it's gonna be a little while. Just hang tight, okay? Please.
Are you gonna send more soldiers?
We have no soldiers here, man. We're all just cops.
Are you gonna send more soldiers?
He's not a soldier. He's a cop. He's a deputy.
Or am I gonna spend the night?
You're gonna spend the night probably in jail.
Nice.
Okay? So we'll be back, but I just need you to simmer down a little bit, okay?
However, Mester wasn't going to just simmer down. In fact, he'd soon reach a breaking point that culminated in an absolutely shocking escape attempt. Mester was apprehended shortly after breaking through the drywall, and criminal damage was added to a list of charges that already included 3 counts of first-degree murder, 5 counts of tampering with evidence, and 1 count of extreme cruelty to an animal. Police haven't released a potential motive to the public as of the making of this video. There's a chance that there was no motive to begin with, and that Mester is simply a sick man who had no idea what he was doing. But at the same time, he seemed to know enough to try and dispose of the body somehow. Dragging the corpses out back wasn't some kind of burial or funerary ritual. It was an attempt to hide evidence. On top of that, police found absolutely no evidence that the Mester family had attacked Adlai in any way. The evidence and his own admissions during his interrogation show that he was the assailant, that he initiated the attack, and that his family members didn't even have a chance to defend themselves. It was brutal, cold-blooded murder, regardless of whether or not Mester understood the gravity of his actions. One massive question still remains. Where did Mester get the gun? Was it owned by his parents, or did he somehow acquire it in the days leading up to the murders? One option suggests that this attack happened in the spur of the moment. The other indicates that Mester had planned it out in advance. We'll only know for sure when his trial begins, the date for which has not yet been determined and will likely be scheduled for well into 2025. In the aftermath of the attack, the Carrie Tingley Hospital Foundation announced a new scholarship in Braile's honor. The Braille Mester Memorial Scholarship Fund will pay for the education of children that show the same qualities of kindness and generosity that Braille showed throughout her brief life, as well as the leadership and passion for inclusivity she always showed. As for the last surviving member of the Mester family, she will now have to deal with the trauma of losing her family for the rest of her life. The fact that it was her own brother that pulled the trigger will only make it worse, and watching him go on trial will potentially deepen the emotional wounds caused by this senseless tragedy. So what do you think of this case? Does Adlai Mester deserve to go to prison, or would a psychiatric facility be a better choice? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you like the way we create these videos, and you want to help bring more cases like this to light, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives. Thank you once again for watching.